I don't even know how to start saying what I'm about to say. I just got done having a conversation with my 9-year-old daughter about how her daddy killed himself. 2 years ago, I told her that her daddy was dead. About 4 months after that, I told her that there's a word called suicide, and that means a person chooses to die. And they were both horrific days in my life, and obviously hers and my son's life. And I knew I was going to have to tell them again and again what suicide is, and their little minds can only handle so much. So they'd forget or they wouldn't understand. And so we've had that conversation many times this year, and now I'm used to it. Just, how did Daddy die again? Well, remember I told you about the word suicide? Oh yeah, he chose to die. And recently, in the last couple weeks, my daughter has been asking, how exactly did Daddy die? Was it a knife or a sword? Was it a gun? And I would say, I'll tell you about that when you get a little bit older. I'll tell you about that in a couple years when you're a little bit older. But she says, okay. But then I hear her talk about it with her brother. I don't know, maybe Daddy hit his head or, cut his arm off, something like that. And I'm like, oh my God. And I know from research and grief therapy that when they speculate and ask, that's them showing you they're ready to hear the truth. And so tonight I put her to bed and she's happy. She just read a book to me and her brother for bedtime, and it was very sweet. And she said, oh, Mommy, I just miss Daddy so much. And I said, I know, baby. What are you thinking about tonight? She said, I just miss spending time with him and opening presents with him and going on vacation with him. I said, I know, me too. I miss all those things. And she said, I said, I know you've been asking how Daddy died, and I'll tell you soon. If you want to know, I'll let you know. She goes, yeah. Was it a knife or a sword? That's what it was. And I said, no. I go, do you want me to just tell you now? And she's like, no, I'm scared. I don't want to. I don't want to know. But was it a gun? I'm like, no, baby. I'm like, let me just tell you what it is, so you don't have to wonder and think about it. And she's like, I don't want to know. I do. I just do. I want to know, Mommy, but I'm scared. And I'm like, it's okay. I'll be right here. The worst thing's already happened. He's dead. That's the worst that can happen. And so I told her, Daddy choked himself. And she said, she put both her hands in and goes, oh, he did this with his hands? And I said, no, he did it with a rope. She said, a rope? What did it look like? I'm like, I don't know, I didn't see it. And she goes, who did see it? I said, your nanny, his mom. And she said, crying, oh, that must have been so horrible for Nanny to see her son killed himself with a rope. And I'm just like, what is happening? How is this my life? How is this real? And she cried and cried, and I cried with her, and we held each other, and she's just shaking and sobbing, and I'm like, I just want it to be over with, you know. I just want it to be anything but this. And then she looks up at me and she says, Mommy, I don't know why Daddy didn't think about us before he did that. Didn't he think about Nanny being sad and us missing him? And I said, I don't know. Daddy was sick in his mind. He had a mental illness, and it wasn't the real him that killed himself. It was the sick part of him, the real part of him, the good part, the one that we have the memories with, would never have done that to us and to himself. But the sick part just took over. And she said, in tears and sobs, just like a 9-year-old, can't keep her lips straight because she's just crying. And she said, I just don't understand why he didn't ask the doctors for help or keep trying. Why didn't he keep trying? And to see my 9-year-old go through all the questions and the normal stages of sadness and grief and grappling and pleading after hearing this just crushes me. Because it just tells me over and over again, this is real, this is not pretend, this is not a horror movie, this is our real life. And I told her, he did try, he fought. Daddy never quit. He never gave up on anything in his life. And what happened and why he did this was because he was sick, and the sick part just got too strong, and he tried to fight it, but, and I kind of explained mental illness with the movie Inside Out, and how Daddy kind of had 2 control panels. He had the control panel with joy and sadness and anger and disgust and fear, and then he had this other dark, sick control panel. And so there's almost like 2 of him inside his mind fighting. They were constantly fighting, and that dark one told him lies, and it was really it was the depression and anxiety and bipolar. And he tried so hard to get help and fight it and be himself in the good part of him. But the bad part, the sick part, just took over, and it got too strong, and that's why we didn't see Daddy for several weeks before he died, because he was not doing well, not winning his fight. And that was, when she asked a few more questions and talk about mental illness. She asked what bipolar was, and I explained a little bit, as much as I could, to a 9-year-old, how. So I just want to say that it's been over 2 years since he died. And it's just another conversation of the millions more I'm gonna have with my kids over the years, trying to help their little minds understand why he chose to leave the earth and make us live without him. It is painful. So painful. My heart feels like there's just knives all in me, and I can't. I don't even know how to keep doing this, but I will. I've been doing it for 2 years, and we have really good months, and we have really good times. And then we just have horrible, dark, painful, excruciating nights like tonight. Where she asked, who can I talk to about this? Can I tell my friend at school? And I say, no. You can talk to me or your counselor or a good friend, but not other kids, not your brother. You know, it's just not something that many people know about. That's what I told her. I'm trying to tote this line of not putting stigma on it or shame, but also having tact and respect for other people, and protecting her from, being hurt any further or hearing more than she knows from me. And it's just a twisted life struggle for us now. I don't even know how to keep going. It's so hard, but all of this is to say, for anyone who is struggling with mental illness or suicidal thoughts, honesty and truth and reaching out and connection with people is the only answer. That's the only answer. And if you don't do it now, you're going to leave your people fighting painfully, trying to learn how to live without you. And I'm begging you, please don't stop fighting. Please don't stop fighting. Don't stop. And for everyone who's lost someone to suicide, you're not alone. We all feel the pain, and it never goes away. I'm gonna link the suicide hotline. But just please don't give up. Please. Please. Keep fighting.